Don't let Manaphy fool you. This thing is as terrifying as it is gosh darn adorable. Don't believe me? Let's pull it up on screen. Look at that thing. It's adorable. It's tiny, it's terrifying, and it debuted in the same generation as both Arceus and Darkrai. So, of course, it's got to be able to compete. Now, why am I so fixated on this thing actually being a secret beast that is slumbering beneath the waves, waiting to just wreak havoc on things? Well, it's because of the moves that Manaphy has access to that not a whole lot of Pokemon do. And that's the fact that it has access to the rather exclusive move Tail Glow, on top of having two signature moves in Take Heart and Heart Swap. Take Heart is a relatively newer move. I believe it came out when Manaphy came back with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. And then there's Heart Swap, which has been with Manaphy ever since it came out back in the original days of Diamond and Pearl. So, why are these terrifying? Well, for starters, let's take a look at Tail Glow. This move is not handed out very frequently, and for good reason. It's actually better than Nasty Plot. One click of this bug type move, and you're going up 3 stages into your special attack. You can only go up to a maximum of 6, which means 2 uses of Tail Glow, and bam, max special attack on Manaphy right there. And yeah, that's explosively fast. You don't want Manaphy getting up to +3, let alone +6, because then Manaphy can actually start doing some damage and threatening things with its special attacks right there. And then there's Take Heart, which is an upgraded version of Calm Mind. This has the exact same effect as Calm Mind of raising the special attack and special defense 1 stage, but it also cures the user of their status conditions as well, which means if you're playing up against something that likes to burn things or poison them or paralyze them, Manaphy can just shrug that all off with Take Heart and just bada bing, bada boom, back and healthy, ready to go, and ready to take some names and ask questions later. And the other thing too is Manaphy's ability Hydration does that as well, but it needs the rain to be on the field, so now you don't have to exclusively rely on rain setters to make sure that Manaphy is just removing its status conditions. Manaphy can get rid of its status conditions while using Take Heart and just go from there. And plus, it's going to be getting bulkier on the specially defensive side as well. And then there's Heart Swap. It switches all stat changes with the target. Now, is this going to do you any favors in single battles? Obviously not, but in doubles, especially Regulation J doubles, this might be scary, because imagine Manaphy either getting a couple special attack and special defense boosts from Take Heart, or even just a Nasty Plot boost, and then turning around and giving that +3 special attack to the likes of, say, I don't know, Arceus, Miraidon, even Darkrai. Probably not Darkrai, but Arceus, Miraidon, Calyrex Shadow Rider, Lunala, they can all be terrifying Pokemon to receive a Tail Glow boost. And also on the note of Lunala, Lunala is base 97 speed, Manaphy's base 100, which means you can actually move before that Lunala and then give it the special attack boost, and boom. Let's be honest though, having something like, say, maybe a Grassy Seed defense boost and then a Tail Glow boost, that can be terrifying as well, especially if you say maybe on the turn you go Tail Glow with Manaphy, maybe you U-turn out with a Rillaboom, Lunala comes in, next turn, here you go, Heart Swap, take my Tail Glow, and then Lunala has that Shadow Shield as well. Yeah, that's terrifying. But one thing that I do think that does hold Manaphy back is the fact that it only has Hydration as an ability. This thing has great stats with base 100 across the entire stat board right there, so it's fairly customizable as far as the EVs go, but unfortunately the ability choice is not, because it only has access to Hydration, and as I mentioned, it does have to rely on rain setters to activate. And the problem there is Miraidon. Yeah, any water type Pokemon should probably be realistically scared of Miraidon, not to mention all the powerful grass type Pokemon in the format as well, not to mention, like, say, Amoonguss, Brute Bonnet, Rillaboom, just to name a few grass types right there. Yeah, it's not really the greatest time to be a water type, but I mean, terrestrialization is a thing. You could Terra into a grass type for Manaphy to give it a resistance to electric and grass type moves. You can make yourself a ground type to become just outright immune to electric types. Or, you could maybe throw something completely different on there, like, say, maybe Terra Ghost, so you don't have to worry about the likes of Fake Out, maybe Terra Poison, just for some defensive synergy right there. You could even potentially go Terra Steel, or you could go the offensive route and maybe look at Terra Water to double up your water type stab attacks, or you could even consider running Terra Stellar. But as far as your Terra goes, that will definitely help getting around your electric and grass type weaknesses. Now, base 100 across the entire board and water is really nice. So if you don't have to worry about any super effective hits, Manaphy's sitting in a rather pretty position right there. Because really, as I mentioned, you can customize your EVs depending on how you want. And if you really want to, because of Tailglow, you don't really have to put the most into your special attack investment. Maybe you want to build more towards your HP and your defenses. Maybe you want to, say, go for a Calm Nature to have that beneficial boost. Maybe you decide you're going to do something like, say, maybe 156 to go up to 154. Maybe invest into your HP. Maybe we'll go up to 207 because that's the highest it can go. You can tell I'm still coming off of the Arceus video because I did that right before this one came out, so I'm used to having a little bit higher base, a little bit higher than base 100. But yeah, maybe you just go up to the 207 final HP total and just put the rest of your EVs into your defense, like go up to 133. And maybe now you're looking at having Tail Glow and some heart swap shenanigans. So maybe we'll just take heart out right now. Maybe what we'll do here is we'll put in a special attack just to do a little bit of damage. Maybe we'll go for flip turn, or not flip turn, grass knot, since this could be used to punish the likes of Groudon and any heavier Pokemon to begin with, since it does rely on the target's weight. And then maybe we'll just have a water type attack for coverage in here, which honestly, Manaphy doesn't actually really get the greatest water type coverage, it appears. Yeah, you could have Hydro Pump, but hey, you do have Scald. And, there's nothing wrong with having Scald there, so we'll just slide Scald right in there. Now you have a 30% chance to burn something as well. So, yeah, you can maybe do something like this, and maybe we'll just change our Terra over to Grass, and then this way too, Grass Knot will also benefit from having the Grass-type stab. And maybe what we'll do here is maybe we'll just put a Grassy Seed here. And now, Manaphy can get a +1 defense boost if grassy terrain goes up onto the field. So now you're getting that on top of Tail Glow. Like, getting a +3 boost right there, well, you're looking at about 2.5 times your modifier. So, yeah, let's just throw up a calculator, because without any investment right here, you're sitting at 120. So you take your 2.5 modifier from being at +3, and you had base 300 special attack with one move for setup. Yeah. Imagine if you actually had special attack investment right there. So on that note, let's change around some EVs. Maybe we're going to go to a Modest Nature. I said we'll go to a Modest Nature. Thank you, computer. Maybe we'll adjust our special defense EVs, put an extra point into our speed just so that we're making it a little bit more even. Say, you know what? We'll bring down the special defense to 135. We'll raise the defense up to 134. Put an extra 8 points into that, 136. You know what? Let's take a little bit out of our HP as well. Maybe we'll go down to 204. We hit 139. Let's get up to that 140. At +3 right here, let's see, 140 at a 2.5 times modifier, you are sitting at 350. That's huge. That is a huge amount of damage right there. So real talk here, the more and more I look into Regulation J for these mythical Pokemon, the more terrifying this meta looks like it's going to be. We have Arceus simply existing with 120 in each single stat right there. That's a powerhouse just waiting to cut wild. We have Manaphy with the ability to just pass off Tailglow boosts thanks to Heart Swap. We have gravity-supported Darkrai putting things to sleep, while Magearna just naturally sits on the field and gets boosted every time something faints thanks to its Soul Heart ability. Really, it's going to be a terrifying meta. But you know what you don't have to be terrified about? Your online security presence, thanks to today's partner, NordVPN. Nord fights the good fight for you. By connecting to their service, your ISP is automatically encrypted, and therefore your security is naturally strengthened right out of the gate. On top of that, they have their Threat Protection Pro, which is used to scour websites that might be hosting malware and stop you from entering them, which honestly, I was doing research for a discussion video and ended up on one such website, which Nord was there at my back saying, hey buddy, this isn't the spot for you. Consider moving on along. And so seeing that in action definitely led to some of my own peace of mind. But they also have their dark web monitor. The dark web monitor for Nord scours the internet for those hideouts of those in real life Team Rocket members looking to make a profit by selling your data. And if your data is found online, Nord notifies you so you can take appropriate action to deal with that, which honestly, that's super convenient. And what else is convenient is the fact that they have a natural ad blocker, so you don't have to worry about those pesky pop-up ads while you're scrolling on your phone and accidentally using your thumbs to bump those instead of a link to a new page, which really, I mean, that's probably my favorite thing about the entire service, not gonna lie. The fact that I don't have to worry about accidentally clicking into those pesky pop-up ads while I'm going out. But getting back on track, if you want to enhance your security while also supporting my channel, check out my link, nordvpn.com/shucko, for a great discount off of a 2-year plan. And Nord also protects up to 10 different devices at once, which is just fantastic. There's your phone, there's your laptop, there's little Chris down the street. I don't know if there's a Chris down the street from you, but hey, actually, I don't even know if there's a Chris down the street from me, but hey, there you go. Even if you want to feel generous and help out little Chris, you can definitely do that as well. And Nord is not just limited to sitting on your couch. If you're on the go traveling to either a convention or a tournament, you can connect to their servers and naturally strengthen your security without having to worry about that shaky airport or hotel Wi-Fi, which is just fantastic. And Nord is all about that customer satisfaction guarantee. So if you are not happy with it, you can get your money back within the first 30 days. But I don't think you're going to need to worry about that because this is a service so good that even Arceus itself is subscribed to. So consider helping my channel grow by using my link, nordvpn.com/shucko, for a fantastic discount off of a 2-year plan. Once again, that is nordvpn.com/shucko in case I haven't said it enough. So what are you waiting for? Strengthen your online security using NordVPN, today's fantastic partner. And also thank you to NordVPN for partnering with me for helping support my channel. Now, back to the discussion. You know what else is insane about Manaphy? The fact that it also gets acid armor. So really, this thing can also give itself a +2 defense. And if you don't necessarily want to just rely on Tail Glow, what you could do too is you could use acid armor plus Take Heart, and now you're getting +2 defense, +1 special attack, +1 special defense, all of which by just using 2 simple moves. And now Manaphy is just going to get insanely bulky really fast as well. Like, we talked about the fact that its max HP caps out at 207, and while that's not necessarily the highest number of HP, behind +2 defense and +1 special defense, like, that's already pretty good. And that's not mentioning the fact, too, that you could potentially have a partner that could just heal up Manaphy, whether it be with Heal Pulse or Life Dew or Pollen Puff. And yes, I'm looking at you, Amoonguss, because Amoonguss looks like a fantastic partner candidate to have next to Manaphy, since it can Rage Powder away attacks and then go for Pollen Puff into Manaphy and just give it more HP as well. So, like, yeah, that's just insanely absurd when you think about it. Now, on top of other supporting options with Manaphy, let's just take a quick look at some more of the status moves it has at its disposal. And look at that, it gets Baton Pass. Because of course it does. Which Baton Pass switches Manaphy out while giving all the boosts there. So Manaphy, whether it be Baton Pass or Heart Swap, is just looking to get rid of its own boosts to power up its partner. Like, what kind of a supportive Pokemon doesn't like doing that? Well, the supportive Pokemon that likes healing things. But point is, Manaphy's just out here looking to have a good time by powering up its partner Pokemon with Baton Pass or Heart Swap. But then we also have access to Haze as well, which is just, a completely different U-turn right there because Haze will just remove all the boosts and debuffs from the entire field. So yeah, the fact that Manaphy has that as well means Manaphy could just say, nope, no, we're just sitting on the field together, you and me opposing Manaphy. You can just set them up all you want. I'm just gonna say no and just wipe the entire field. Like, yeah, yeah, that's fun. Manaphy also gets access to light screen as well as reflect. So there's your screen reduction for damage. So yeah, you have that. You have access to substitute. So Manaphy could just go on the fully offensive route. Just go substitute, throw that substitute up in front of itself, go for the tail glow, or scary thought, or form in shed tail. Could also do the same thing. Manaphy gets the tail glow and then just starts going for big damage. So yeah, that's a scary thing. If you wanted to give yourself a little bit of passive recovery, you do have access to Aqua Ring. You can go for Charm to lower Fangs' physical attack. You have Fake Tears to lower special defense on Fangs. You also have Helping Hand in case Manaphy hasn't done enough to support its partner Pokemon. So yeah, I think Manaphy is a really scary supportive option right here. But what if Manaphy wants to go on the offensive? Well, as far as its moves go, because it has such naturally great setup moves for its special attack, you're probably going to want to build this more as a special attacker than a physical attacker. And to be completely honest with you, Manaphy doesn't really have a whole lot of physical moves to begin with. Like, it does get access to knockoff, which is a great utility move, but I don't really think it's worth it. To be completely honest, like Manaphy does not get access to moves like say bulk up or sword stance or iron defense. I mean, it does technically get the acid armor, but it doesn't really. Yeah, the iron defense is probably a poor example because it has acid armor, but it doesn't get access to sword stance. It doesn't get access to bulk up, so it's not really doing any physical damage after a boost. Like, it's all primarily looking towards special attack and boost. Like, while it does have access to flip turn and U-turn, which are notable for the pivoting option, you are going to want to be looking at your special attack options. So we're just going to get rid of the physical moves and we're going to jump right into the special. And Manaphy does get Alluring Voice, which is nice. It's a fairy type attack with base 80 power, and it will confuse the target if the target went for a boost as well. So that could be nice. Like, maybe someone comes in thinking they can just set up on Manaphy, and Manaphy just goes bam, Alluring Voice, and just confuses them. So it does have that. It has Blizzard for raw base 110 ice type damage, and so if a snowstorm is set up, you could have that nice accurate Blizzard as well. And because we talked about Take Heart being able to remove status conditions as well, you don't really have to rely on that hydration ability. You have Energy Ball if you're going Terra Grass and you want something a little bit more consistent and not weight dependent like Grass Knot. So you do have Energy Ball for some coverage right there. You have Ice Beam, which, you know what? If you want the single target ice type option, you have that as opposed to Blizzard. You have Psychic and Shadow Ball for some general coverage options right there, with Psychic type being, well, with Psychic being a Psychic type move and then Shadow Ball being a Ghost type. You have Stored Power, which honestly, well, Stored Power is a gimmick because Manaphy can set itself up so well. Stored Power will grossly increase in power, and then it can do a lot of damage. Like, if you run Acid Armor and Tail Glow, like, you would only need maybe 2 acid armors and 1 to 2 tail glows, and then stored power is just going to start destroying everything. Like, maybe if you build more into your special defense AVs and just rely on Manaphy's natural bulk, like, stored power could be terrifying. As far as water coverage goes, and as well as stab coverage goes, like, Scald is great. It's a 30% chance to burn the target while also having Surf to flood the entire field. So if you have, like, say, a Storm Drain Mon or a Water Absorb Mon, maybe Ogerpon Wellspring, for example, you could get away with some Surf shenanigans. You have Terra Blast to basically turn into whatever Terra you have, and honestly, Tailglow Terra Stellar might not be the worst thing either, because while Terra Stellar Terra Blast does lower your attack and your special attack, you could kind of use that to your advantage because you'd be lowering your physical attack, meaning Manaphy would take less damage from foul play, and because Tailglow would put you up to +3 to begin with, you'd still be sitting at +2 special attack, and there's no special attack related abilities that are just a direct parallel to Intimidate. So yeah, Tailglow Terra Stellar Terra Blast could be scary, since nothing's immune to Terra Stellar. And then you have Weather Ball, which is wild as well, because Weather Ball will just change depending on the weather and double in power. So yeah, if you have rain, well, weather ball is going to get the 50% boost from rain. It's going to double in power naturally. It's going to gain stab off of Manaphy, and similarly enough with the sun, like it'll turn into a fire type attack, and the sun will give it a 50% boost. If you're Terra Fire Manaphy, just spitballing here, like that's going to be massive damage off of weather ball. And then Sandstorm would turn it into a rock type move while doubling its power. Unfortunately, Sandstorm doesn't boost up rock type attacks the way how Sun and Rain boost up their respective typings, but I mean, that's crazy. And similarly enough, Snow would turn it into a base 100 single target ice type attack, which honestly, that's a little bit more base power than Ice Beam right there, while being a little bit weaker than Blizzard. But I mean, with the spread damage modifier being factored in, I mean, honestly, I think you're doing more damage at that point with the ice type weather ball. So yeah, weather ball Manaphy. And also because Weather Ball is so good in Pokemon Go, I would be terrified to see them give Weather Ball to Manaphy in general when Manaphy eventually comes out to Pokemon Go. Side note aside, though. And then, as far as what Smogon calls usually useless moves, I like to think you can find some hidden gems there, but to be honest, I think they're pretty accurate on this one, with the exception of maybe, say, Icy Wind having that speed control. But yeah, you're not really getting much out of those remaining special attacks, but really, I think between Take Heart or Tail Glow for a boosting option of choice, you're in a pretty good situation right there. So yeah, man, if you can do a lot of damage, like I just really like the idea of having um that Scald right here. And as we mentioned, stored power could be scary. And let's talk about that for a quick second. Just as far as some EVs go, like just to kind of put something onto paper, just to kind of bring it back. As far as the EVs go, like if you maybe went for a calm nature and boosted right up, like say maybe go up to 196 so that you have like that 159, and then invest more into your HP. Like maybe we'll go right up to the max 207. We have 60 points, so maybe we'll do 4 and 4 right here, and then put the 52. Put the 52 computer. Maybe we have something like this. We have the acid armor for a +2 boost, so naturally at +2 we are at a ×2 modifier, so we would be sitting at 242 defense. We could have, instead of Take Heart, we have that Tail Glow for that +3, which +3 would put us to 2.5. So because I didn't pick a friendly number that we talked about, time to get the calculator out again. So 127 times 2.5, you're sitting at 317 after one Tail Glow. Yeah. Like if you get, hypothetically, if you get that acid armor and that Tail Glow off, you're going to be doing a lot of damage because stored power also goes up +20 on top of the natural base 20 per stat boost. So a Tail Glow would add an extra 60 points of power. So now you're sitting at a base 80 psychic move. If you had one acid armor off as well, add another 40. You're sitting at 120 right there. Terra Stellar. Yeah, for that one-time boost, or maybe even consider Terra Psychic, just so that stored power has the stab option. But yeah, that could be wild, to be completely honest. But if you didn't want to do that and with stored power and just run something else, like say maybe that energy ball, like I think that could definitely work out relatively nice. And we haven't really talked much about item choices for Manaphy just quite yet. And I think ultimately the biggest item that you're probably going to want on it is a mental herb. And the main reason being is mental herb will protect you from taunt, it'll protect you from encore, so you don't have to worry about either being locked out or locked into your setup moves right there. So you have that mental herb, and now Manaphy can set up and not have to worry about the setup move getting either shut out by taunt or repeated by encore, at least for the first time. So you could have that. And plus, if you have a good follow me partner right next to Manaphy, and as I mentioned, Ogerpon Wellspring, I think this could be really good. Like you can have that follow me with Ogerpon, or you could go for something a little bit more defensive, like say maybe Friend Guard Clefairy, which we'll pull up right here. If you had that Friend Guard, and we'll put the Eviolite right here. With Follow Me, like Manaphy would also take less damage from Friend Guard being on the field. So like Clefairy could follow me away and attack. Manaphy can set up, and then Manaphy could be ready to go pretty quickly, especially if you're looking at a more offensive geared Manaphy as well. So like Maybe you're not even looking to have that acid armor. Maybe you just want the tail glow. Well, now you can open up a slot for protect. You can have that tail glow. You can have that scald, and then we can kind of adjust the EVs right here. And maybe you want to have more speed into your Manaphy. Like maybe you want a faster, harder hitting Manaphy and a little bit less bulkier. Like maybe now you're looking at say like 252 timid to hit 167. It's a shame that it's only base 100 speed because base 100 speed is not what it used to be. But I mean, Manaphy could be really scary. Like once it hits certain numbers here, like at 236 EVs, you're hitting 150, one tail glow. Like that's going to be lights out for a lot of things. So maybe you like just put a few extra points into your HP and defenses. Maybe you're having some light screen or reflect support next to it. You could have something like that. Another item you could do instead of the mental herb is you could do the covert cloak, and then that way you don't have to worry about fake out. And that way too, you can just protect yourself from that. You don't have to worry about secondary effects kicking in and disrupting Manaphy. Like if you take an electric type attack on the turn, you go maybe say Terra Grass, you don't have to worry about potentially getting paralyzed. So you have that at your disposal as well. You could also just say, I don't want the supportive item. You could go for the Life Orb. And then Manaphy can just do some massive damage to things as well. I mean, I feel like really the two biggest drawbacks to Manaphy is the fact that its ability is kind of useless, to be completely honest. And the fact that it doesn't really have the biggest sustainability. Like, I don't think this thing gets access to Life 2 or Recover, and we'll just check that. Yeah, Recover is no good, and Life 2 is no good either. So really, like, once Manaphy's HP is kind of whittled down, like, that's kind of the biggest problem right there. Like, I don't see it having any means of recovery, like, outside of Aqua Ring, which is not really the fastest move to begin with. So, yeah, I think that's kind of the only drawback really keeping Manaphy in check is the fact that hydration just doesn't really work the greatest synergy wise, like unless you're running a rain team, and the fact that it just doesn't have a good means of recovery, like say Arceus or Mew, for example, where they both get recover. But yeah, overall though, I still think Manaphy is extremely strong. You could run, say, maybe Leftovers and Aqua Ring just to get more HP back. Like Leftovers gives you 1/16th, and I believe Aqua Ring also gives you 1/16th. So the way how that works, like that's 1/16th each. You're really looking at 2/16th, so I would say that's probably closer to an eighth of your health. But it's been a long time since I've talked fractions, so yeah, I think that's right. I could be wrong, but yeah. Anyways, overall, I think Manaphy is just extremely strong, and it really should not be underestimated. Like, look how cute this thing is. Imagine it comes to the field, sets up that tail glow, and bam.
Bam.
Yeah, like just imagine it does something like that. And yeah, overall I think it should be worth exploring and using, and maybe some partner Pokemon that could be really nice. Like we do have Ogerpon and Clefairy here, and I did mention like say passing on a boost. Like I think Ice Rider could be really nice next to Manaphy if you're going for the heart swap option, and even if you are not. Like I think Ice Rider could be great. Like you could have maybe Ogerpon for some damage, maybe slap on an Incineroar just so that you can have a little bit of Intimidate support, and maybe even consider having like a core of like Manaphy, Ogerpon, Cali, Incin, and then maybe say Amoonguss. Like I think Amoonguss is really good because it does have that pollen puff. So yeah, I think that could be a good strong core right there for 5 different Pokemon, and then maybe say I don't know, maybe we throw on a Screen Mon just to reduce the amount of damage for everything. Like Ogerpon and Calyrex definitely appreciate having screen support as well, so maybe we just throw on that Grimmsnarl, and maybe that could be a good little starting off idea for a team if you want to build around it. Like you could have that Grimmsnarl with your screen support. You can have Pollen Puff Amoonguss. You can have the natural Intimidate off of Incineroar while also having Fake Out and all that other Incineroar goodness. You can have Calyrex for just insane Glacial Lance damage. You can have Ogerpon for both Follow Me as well as Ivy Cudgel, so you can go with the supportive route or the offensive route. And then you can have Manaphy with either Scald or Surf for a water-type move of choice. You can have some grass coverage with Energy Ball or Grass Knot, and then you can also just set up with Tail Glow. So yeah, overall, I pretty much think that just about covers what I wanted to talk about as far as the video goes. So be sure to let me know what you think of Manaphy down in the comments below. And also, once again, thanks to Nord for partnering with me for supporting the channel. And be sure to check out my link, nordvpn.com/shucko, for a fantastic discount off of a 2-year plan with Nord. Manaphy doesn't have to be the only terrifying thing out there. Enhance the level of your online security to a terrifying level of your own. Anyways, see you guys next time.